and welcome to Father Allan Talks. I was planning to talk to you about something completely different than what I've had in mind until yesterday I heard the news, as I'm sure all of you did, about the horrible knife attacks in the French alpine town of Annecy, where 4 children are critically injured and 2 adults who were injured as well. First off, it's important to say that we know at this point next to nothing about the motivations of the attacker. And I know some media have been speculating about this, have been jumping onto the gun, and I don't want to do that. So I urge everyone to wait, allow the police investigation to take place, and we can speculate later on what the motivations of the attacker were. But one of the questions I'm often asked as a priest is, Father, why does God allow this to happen? Where is God in these horrible acts of evil? Well, the first thing that's important to say in answer to this is the role of free will and the role of love. Love is something that is freely offered by God, but it also has to be freely received. There is no compulsion in love. So God has given us free will in order to love God freely. And of course, having free will allows us to act in acts of love that we see every day. But also, having free will gives us the freedom to commit horrible acts of evil if we choose to do so. That is the nature of free will. So when I'm asked, where is God in all of this? I see God in acts of the witnesses, the ones, 2 of them at least, we know on the video, that tried to delay this attacker and hold off the attacker. I see the love of God in the acts of the police officers who eventually arrived to restrain this individual, and the act of one of the witnesses who was actually a Catholic on his way to Annecy, because Annecy is apparently a cathedral city. And he said in the press conference later on that he didn't feel he was there by accident. He felt that God always has a plan. And that is reflective in the biblical attempt to answer the fundamental question, why do bad things happen to good people? And that's in the book of Job. Job is fundamentally a good man, and he is struck down with all kinds of calamity. And then eventually, at the end of his tether, Job shouts out to God, and he says, why have you done this? Why have you done all of these things to me? Why have you permitted this to happen? And God responds to Job in the story out of a whirlwind. And this is what he says. Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up your loins like a man. I will now question you. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me, if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or stretched out the line upon it, on where its bases sunk, or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the heavenly beings shouted for joy. The point here is, we as human beings, being so narrow in our thinking in the here and now, can't begin to understand the vastness and the comprehension of God's plan. But God does have a plan. Just in that person who intervened when he said, God didn't put me here by accident. God meant to be there him to be there at that place, at that moment. So where is God in acts like these? God is in the people who intervened. to stop that attacker from doing even more damage than what he already did. And then Job answered the Lord, and Job got the answer to this. He says, I know that you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. Who is this that hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. Job himself understood that even in the midst of suffering, God is there with us, and God always has a plan. So, as we pray for the victims, we pray for the families to make a full recovery from this tragedy, always know that God is with us, even in the midst of the most horrible evil. And God bless you. Hello. If you liked this video and want to see more, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Chopper channel, where you can see all of my homilies and all of my Allan Talks episodes right there for free. Bye for now.